Okay, it took a minute for me to get on. Hi, everybody. Whew. Oh, I had so much to say, and suddenly it's out of my window. Plus, I'm only talking to myself right now. I'm gonna move this back. So, okay. Hi. You're in my office. I've been working since 4 o'clock and just didn't have time to set anything up, so I just popped you on my office desk, and if you could see it, it's a mess, and decided to just have a short conversation with you. I'm really stymied as to how to even begin. Like when I channel, when things happen for me, when I'm in the prophetics, they're life altering for me. Every year that I do them, it's bothering me. Hold on a second. Just move it down. There we go. Every year I do them, I'm reset for the future. I'm reset for what's going to occur for humankind. And since last week when I shared just the eruption of separation, no longer able to deny it, no longer able to tamp it down, I'm very familiar with that type of energetic weirdness, because it's usually when something is breaking through. It's usually when something is roaring to the surface and there's nothing we can do to stop it. It also, in a coherent field, in realities of unity, that's why beings who live in cultures of unity, they dance, they stomp, they sing, they shout, they wail, they cry, because it keeps the emotional palette of creation moving through them. We become so domesticated and so Stepford wives and so mental that we often wonder why creation doesn't flow through us. And then, of course, when they did the intentions, they talked about you had to add emotion or feelings, but it's not in the intelligence of it. We're not in the intelligence of our emotional palette. We're not in that. And it was quite extraordinary to be in the level of grief. Obviously, grief is not a stranger to me. That I have visibly shown to people twice now. And the purpose of my doing Facebook Live is to be in a living relationship with a person who moves through stuff like you do, and to see what it's like when I've done the creation exercises for over 20 years now, and to see what it's like to literally have the emotional palette literally move you through into the next greater whole. And though language base we live in at this time doesn't do that, it keeps us in a ping pong match, like our head being pounded back and forth across the net without the mental structure of the brain literally being able to include the information, integrate it, and move the whole palette of your existence into the next greater whole. So I don't know. I did 108 people, and clear as a bell that personally for each person, it's now time to establish a vibrant, life-fulfilling emotional palette. And a person can do that sitting in a wheelchair. A person can do that without any ability to go out into the world. I have 3, I don't know what you call it. I have National Geographic. I have space.com, and I have, what was the other one? Oh, a Source Vibration newsletter. And those are things that completely dust off and fill up my emotional palette. But I was thinking about empathy, and I was thinking about emotions. And, we have empathy like horror. Like we pick up the pain of the universe. I need to stop feeling. I need to suppress my sensitivity. But I was in a conversation yesterday, and in order to be a sensitive, you need to have a vibrant, alive, direct connection with creation, emotional palette. Otherwise, you can't survive the bombardment of trauma in the reality we're born into. Otherwise, you just can't survive it. And that's just the truth. So it just blew my mind that the mental mind is disintegrating, which it should. It is loaded with trying to figure things out, getting information from the outside world rather than trusting our empathic response and our sentient intelligence. So I don't know. I don't know what humanity's going to do. I don't know. It's like we went full circle from Socrates establishing reason and logic and the rational mind, that devoid of any emotion whatsoever. Didn't have to look for it being thrilling. Didn't have to look for it being enlivening. Didn't have to look for it being life enhancing. It only had to look for being rational, logical, and intellectual, reason based. Well, reason never is the source of action. Being compelled by your spirit or being compelled by your fear is the source of action. So you got to see my emotional palette. I have a big one. And one time I was in the store with my kids, Aaron and Liana, not my son Ricky, and they were on the other side of the aisle, and I was in the bread aisle, and all of a sudden I started laughing and throwing the bread over the top, trying to hit them on the other side. Yes, I did get asked to leave, but I was in such a state of ecstasy that I was throwing the kids the bread and trying to bop them, and they were grabbing the bread and throwing it back at me. How socially disgraceful. But it's that emotional palette. It's that emotional palette that I didn't develop from being born this way. I was beaten every night for, I don't know, somewhere around 11 years old till I was 16, when I threw my mother down the floor and said I'd had enough, down the stairs and told her I'd had enough. And which just felt like a pragmatic action because I couldn't figure out a way to stop her, and it stopped her. Fear stops fear. And so it wasn't like I came away. I watched comedies. I never watch a comedy hardly at all now, but I went to the theater and watched every comedy I could find because I was inherently driven to laugh. Hard to believe for those of you that know me now, right? Hard to believe. But I had to wake up my emotional palette because my sensitivity to the world around me, if I didn't have that bright, shiny pulse of the emotional palette firing off all the time, I couldn't take the trauma that I'd been born into. That's why I've always loved the Irish. The Irish are, I don't know if you've ever been slagged. I think it's a rich opportunity for all of us. Slagging is a form of teasing, but you get the merit of the person, because if they're laughing at themselves as you're slagging them, then you know they've got a healthy emotional palate. If they're offended by you slagging them, you know they don't. If they don't even know you're slagging them, well, we won't go there. That's pretty much dead walking zombie. What is it called? The Walking Dead. So I don't know what you're going to do. Ann Terrell, I think she's on here. She said, talk about developing a healthy emotional palate. I know when Ann's emotional palate was frozen, right? Sorry, Ann, revealing that. I don't think she minds. Post some of your stuff on here, honey. But I remember her waking up And oh my God, you wouldn't believe what she did. We had this Pan ceremony with Damanhur, Italy, the Temple of Humankind, celebrating Pan so he can get lively and awake and vibrant and, perky here on this planet. Oh my goodness, she cut out this gigantic stencil. She put it on her cottage and painted it. And you could see she was like in glee heaven. She was like ecstatic. She was ecstatic. And that's what you got to do. That's the instruction for 2021. There's no way out of it. We had a real high yesterday in the United States of America for a lot of us. But I got to tell you what the other people were doing. They were in disbelief. They felt that their world was over. They felt that, I was laughing at Anne's comment. They felt like their world had ended, that all was hopeless, that these tyrants and these evil people that had just been elected to office, we had now sold our country, I think one of the QAnon things, to China, that there was no hope for the United States. That is what is going on in the United States right now. And I was in a conversation yesterday. I was on a call. Hi, Jean. It's good to see you again. I was on a call yesterday with someone who's a real extraordinary woman who's done a lot of transformational work. And one of the things, when you did the original S training by Werner Erhard, you did this practice. And the practice was you sat in the chair, and I'll do it the way Werner did it, because I was one of the people sat in the chair with him doing it with me. And he would say, he put out his hands, and let me see my hands, and he would say, chocolate or vanilla, choose. And for one of the people on this call, in your prophetic was the word choice, so listen carefully. But he was coming from a reality of unity. He wasn't coming from, I don't know if I like chocolate, I'm kind of allergic to vanilla, I don't know which one to choose. And he'd just keep going. People keep going through their rational, logical, reasonable mind, and he'd just go chocolate or vanilla, choose. And pretty soon you went chocolate, and that was it on it. So I was talking to this person yesterday who's just woeful over the world, just broken, can't find meaning in her life. She's given her life to humanity. And I said, what about giving it to you? What if we've done our job? What if we did our part? What if we started look at this. The United States has a meta point of that which thinks the election was hopeful. I mean, the new president and vice president are a key to a brand new world for us. And another huge part of the United States feeling that they're evil and they've sold out the United States and that we're about to go down the tube through these evildoers. Listen to me. Chocolate or vanilla, choose. That's it. And when you choose, build the emotional palette of it. And I said to her clear, it's either hell or heaven here. It's either hell or heaven. We're at the meta point of so above, so below. Or so above, so below, so below, so above. So either you're hell, this is hell for you, and you have the emotional palette of hell. And by the way, we do have part of the emotional palette of hell. A lot of the work people do call it the shadow. I don't like that, because without the shadow, you can't see the light in a painting. So it doesn't make the painting beautiful without shadow. So I don't get that one. I live in a reality of unity, where you need both the light and the shadow. But heaven or hell, choose. Choose. And develop your emotional palette consistent with your choice. Yeah, Lori, we're all the way back to that initial S training. Chocolate or vanilla, choose. We are back to that one premise. And that isn't rational. That isn't reasonable. That isn't logical. That is, I choose. I chose. Well, I chose heaven. I had a dog that I'd had for 16 years. That was hell when she died. That was the loss of a whole world for me. and she would not shut that door. She forced me into being in love with her and not losing her, even in her death. Being available to her love, our beloved relationship 24/7, just not in the physical world. What proof do you need that the physical world isn't where it's at? The physical world, how many of you know what a Lamborghini is? Don't answer. It's a rhetorical question. There are a lot of people that don't know what a Lamborghini looks like what it physically looks like. But if I said Volkswagen, they would know what a Volkswagen looks like. That's chocolate or vanilla. They know a Volkswagen because they developed a palette for it. They could see it when it was visible, but they couldn't see Lamborghinis because they hadn't developed a palette for it. If you don't develop an emotional palette for paradise, how can you find it? How can you find it? I don't know. I don't know what humanity's going to do, because I had some people that have worked with me for years and call me, two of them, to explain to me that on election day, I need to have a ham radio because all the television stations were going to go down, and that the military under Trump was going to take over the United States of America. And they just wanted me to believe them. And if I didn't believe them, to at least buy the ham radio so that I could be taken care of. These are sincere people. So that I could be taken care of when the evildoers of the White House went down. Did anybody see the inauguration? It was beautiful. And see, I'm not people-centric, I'm field-centric. It set a field of unity. I was on with the WhatsApp thread of the field of Tantramat. And it was incredible. I was also on the phone with two friends of mine. And I was also on a FaceTime with my children. I was completely in the inauguration, lying in bed, filled with participation. And you should have seen some of the things coming through from the 7 years of work that they had done in the spirals of being. Oh my God, Tantra, they're saying the exact words that we got from doing this reality of unity work. That unity, we've been building that coherency for 7 years, and we're not the only ones. Landmark has you all do other things. You all shop around. You know who's talking about the turn, the curve. But here are two people telling me that they loved me and they wanted to make sure when Trump took over the White House that I'd be okay. And I said, thank you. I don't get after people because of they chose chocolate. I thanked them very much for letting me know. And one of them said, are you going to do it? And I went, no, but thank you. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for caring about me. So it was amazing to be in the inauguration, not because I'm political, but because they set the field. They set the field. Every song, every speech. That is not people-centric. That is people that did it, but they set the field. You know what I did? I prepared for 2021. I set up a public forum on Tapatalk. I set up the things that I am being called to do in 2021, because as I built the future forward while the inauguration was going on, I was literally anchoring in the future, the present, and I was anchoring paradise, where I stand, paradise. So what are your actions? What are you building forward into the future? What are you doing? There isn't an outside. Something just happened to our video over here. I apologize. Not sure what happened. There isn't an outside God. There's a generating G, organizing O, designs D of creation. And we're part of that. Because they're young, Lori. Didn't you have kids? Come on, people. See, Lori, sorry, Duck, honey. What if it wasn't about fear or love? What if we stopped voting, what if we just stopped being interested in what's wrong with the world? What if we stopped being interested in fear, where we're standing? That's the outside world. That's the lure, the entrapment. Oh, look over there. There's so much poverty. I've got to get Georgia to post something on Sacred Site. Somebody text me. Because when you look at the statistics, there's a lot of people doing just fine. We have the ability. I'd love for you to understand field phenomenon. I want to tell you something. See, Michelle and Laura, listen to me. Don't do the stop and don't do the fear. Do the other side now. Like Lori, I'm going to let love control me now. Michelle, I'm going to let unity control me now. We have no right to say to another human being what they should be doing. And we have no right to say what they're doing. I had two people that I adore call me to protect me from their future. Thanks, honey. To protect me from their future, because somewhere that future is happening. Do you understand? So what future are you going to have happen where you're standing in your conditions? I had another person call me yesterday. I don't want to be too specific, but let's just say in their family, something really bad happened. That one of the members of the family literally screwed over another member of the family. Like a son and daughter, or like a father and son. It's so bad. But when I was talking to her, I said, aren't you lucky? Look, it was the father and two children. I said, look who your children could have turned out to be like, but they turned out to be like you. And the three of you are working this out. And who knows? It might never happen in the family again, because three of you are rebuilding the integrity. Three of you are standing for how people should care about each other. Because see, I only see paradise. I only see paradise. I chose. And I got to tell you, I can't yell enough today about choose, and then fight for your choice with yourself. Because we haven't finished these recursions. We're in a solar plexus moment. We are in a subconscious moment. We are where the deepest part, the underbelly of humanity is flipping up. If we don't have a bunch of us busy building paradise where we're standing, having ourselves only see Lamborghinis, no offense to Volkswagen's going out of existence. I apologize completely. But if I only see paradise, then hell starts going out of existence around me. It's not like I don't experience it. It's just I get myself back up and say, whoops, there's still oil on the sidewalk. But am I going to get stuck on that there's oil on the sidewalk? Or am I going to put chalk down on the sidewalk beyond it and play hopscotch? Look, you're needed. You're needed at a level that is impossible to explain. Jesus knew, God knew, Buddha knew, Mohammed knew that humanity is the answer to humanity. We're the driving healing force. We are a one soul species. We are interactive, interrelated, interdependent. Yes, you are in Lamborghini land, Diane. Now write down, I am a Lamborghini. Emotional palette. Come on, we got to do this. We got to do this. I'm going to be on this conversation. There are 6 years ahead. We never thought we would see people break into the Capitol of the United States. The underbelly is flipping up. If you aren't paying attention to paradise, you can get caught in the oil spill. Please don't. What I said to my friend yesterday is, because she was having a rough time. Her life is committed to humanity. And she feels like it's going downhill, not uphill. It is not. It is not. It's not. That inauguration wouldn't have happened. Forget the people. Just remember the inauguration. It was the conversation, not the people. That conversation is what we're after. That conversation everywhere we can find it. You be that conversation. Your version. Leave the other conversations alone. Come on. Leave it alone. And if somebody tries to have it with you, just say, okay. That's their world. That's where they're at work. And don't judge. I was listening to Ma's global address, and I was thinking I should go back and listen to it, because I was going, oh, wow, I wonder how many times she was using the word stop judging, stop being in judgment. So I would like to add that. Do you know what the hidden villain of judgment is? Do you know what it is? Who knows? Who knows the hidden villain of judgment? You're going to be surprised. Who knows? Take a guess. Come on. Quit being so tight. No stick figures here. It's probably just not popped up. Guess what the hidden villain of judgment is? Guess. What time is it? 30 minutes after the hour. Guess what the hidden villain of judgment is? Reason. No, love isn't a villain, Saren. But thanks for risking it. No, reason is the hidden villain of judgment. Hit reason. All right. Now the next thing, list 3 things that you're willing to do for no reason. I suggest that Diane tell everybody she's a Lamborghini. That would be a good one. Three things for no reason you're going to do. 3 things. Diane's going to call herself a Lamborghini. 3 things. 3 things you're going to do. Chocolate or vanilla. For no reason. Look how hard it is to even think that. Honest to God. Or goddess. Great, Sylvie. Smile. For no reason. Bentley. Yes, I'll go with that. Gold Bentley. Gold. Develop emotional palette. Come on, it all started in this conversation. I'm trying to protect you. Honest to God, I'm trying to protect you. What are you going to do the next time the underbelly shows itself? What are you going to do the next time you realize how much humanity still has training wheels? What are you going to... green Porsche. Oh, my God. Oh, she just did my favorite car. No. Jaguar. Green Jaguar with green leather interior. Oh, my God. Anybody want to buy me one? Dancing. But no reason. How about paradise? How about I choose paradise? How about I choose paradise when everything's trying to convince me that it's not paradise? That's why my hero is Daniel in the Lion's Den. they stuck him in there. The lions ran out. And he goes, "Hi, friends." He could have been eaten. He probably still said, "Hi, friends." Now, all of you are talking about things to do. I want to know what you think. What are you going to think for no reason? What are you going to think for no reason? See, I choose paradise because that's what this place was designed to be. That's my reason. I choose paradise. And it's not in contrast to anything else. It's just I can't figure out anything else to do that is worth my time. That is worth my time. The thing I said to the person yesterday, I said, I do not want to be at your death with you regretting that you suffered the next 6 years over the fate of the world and it cost you the joy of your own life. I'm not going to do that. And I know this is hard because it looks like we're political, or it looks like we're positional, or it looks like we're acting like we're better than other people. But honest to God, save your soul. Save your spirit. Bring your spirit online. Bring it online. And the only way you can do it is through your emotions. The only way you can do it is through your emotional palette. It's the only way you can do it. You can talk a good game in your head, but without developing the emotional palette that goes with it, you cannot hold against the tide. You cannot miss the oil spill. Life will look dingy. It's only begun. There is a polarized reality going on right now. Both of them are evident. Both of them are real. Both are them. Both, okay? Both realities are real. Because human beings generate reality through what they think and through what they feel. That's the miraculous nature of a human being. That's why our imagination is so critically important. And come here, we'll play. We'll play every Friday. We'll practice. We'll just practice. It's so hard to break contrast in order to. I'm going to be happy so I won't be sad. I'm going to practice joy so I won't be frightened. No. Just develop an emotion. You know what a palette is? You know what artist palette? Where it has different colors. Color my world. Color my world. I want to advertise. And you have to realize, I have a cornerstone of my personality, which is, what would you call it? I'm always surprised when people show up. I don't know what you call it. Somebody might know. But I'm always surprised when people show up. I don't know. I'm past a half a century, so I can't add any more. But for half a century, I've been having this conversation. Oh, God. See, there are some things that you just don't stop doing. So you got to have a sense of humor about it. So I work in field phenomenon. I am not people-centric. And I spent I was trying to figure, I think I had my first visions related to now, plus the DOD that came to visit me that threw me over the cliff with the Matrix of Reality, which I think is still posted on the files on the Facebook page, a Sacred Space for Rest and Courage. I think there's a file there that Jackie put in there for you to read it. But that was in the 1994, I think. And then I did a series of about 11 visions, of compelling visions that pretty much sourced everything I did. Those of you that just came on, please go back and watch it from the beginning. It'll be posted. Otherwise, that won't make sense. What I'm about to say won't make sense. So I work for creation, with creation on behalf of all life. That's what I do. And I'm unusual because I'm not people-centric. I'm field phenomenon-centric. So I build fields within which new realities can rise. It's just that simple. And people that have worked with me over the years realize that they also, with me, build fields within which new realities can rise. It's the name of the game. So for me, I've known about this time forever. Well, 1994 on, because I was shown it. That also, I think, is on the Facebook page, A Sacred Space for Rest and Courage. I think the vision is also on there. And he basically said, tell them not to fear. That's what the GOD said to me. And then he showed me, he touched my hands, and my whole emotional system stopped and changed in 2 months. That's why I'm like this now. Oh, yeah. That's why I'm like this now. It totally changed my emotional palette. It made my emotional palette susceptible to joy. You need to make your emotional palette susceptible to happiness, susceptible to joy. Otherwise, you'll get caught in the thingness world of joy like a thing, happiness like a thing, and then you'll get in your case because you don't have joy. Just keep making your emotional palette susceptible. But there's a next recursion. So everything got complete for me except one project, the Patron Project, on December 31st, 2020, because it was all about starting these 6 years. And if you have known me for a while, I have never been off about what is happening in the field of creation. Never. 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 Good to see you, Kay. Water. Make sure that you watch it from the beginning. Thanks, honey. Listen, we're in the second part. We're in part 2. Building a world of unity, where we're standing with each other. To have the excitement of life and the pleasure of life be equal to the horror of life that is trying to find a place here. So I had developed I've developed 2 things. There'll be 3, but 2 I want to talk about. It's my ad. You don't get an ad very often. So, and I'll tell you the prices too, so you can go down every hole possible and just have it be over it with. So everything's about the personal self now for the next 6 years. Everything. We got to hear the topics of that inauguration. I don't care about the politics, but if you watch the topics, if you watch what was declared, remember intentions? Then that set the field, regardless of who the players were. I'm not going down that too. Remember, I'm not people-centric. I'm conversation-centric. So the phenomenon that we are in right now is that now we have to become a collective power. We have to build a field through the interactive, interrelated, symbiotic nature of our own lives. So I set up something called setting up your year. It's certainly not about being a coach. Sorry. It's about generating an environment within which your year is set up on behalf of yourself and all life. Your emotional palette too will be, I don't know, we never know what happens when we're together and I start reading you and I start looking at your magnificence. I start filling it out. It's $5.50. It's 2 hours, just to let you know. And then once a month for $55, because the Mimsy set 5 as the operating system in the Mimsy project. there's going to be a conversation for 3 hours. There's going to be a conversation for 3 hours. Our conversation. Because without human beings building the field within which new realities can rise, we are in the, we're going to get slapped around by the outside world. And I'd like us not to do that. I'd like us not to be slapped around by the outside world. So that's $550 for 2 hours to set your year, if you so choose. I don't have a lot of openings. And $55 to meet on the second Sunday. Hold on. The first Sunday of every month. Because see, who I trust is you. I watched it. I did an experiment for 6 years, and then they went into the next one. I did this experiment for 6 years with a group of people from all over the world to build a coherent field. I got to watch them. It's not cause and effect. It's synchronicity. It's the power of synchronicity. The power of coming together on behalf of all life and watching the world start to line up with it. And we all should be building synchronic patternings. We should all be in the magic of, I don't know how that happened, but boy, I've sure been wanting it for a long time. Synchronicity, shared feels, shared cravings, shared delight, shared adorableness. So I don't expect anybody to come. And I'm fine if they don't, because it might not be time. People are still shopping for trying to heal themselves, trying to fix themselves, and that's all good. I'm fine with that. It's just not where I work. And people are trying to get the answers for themselves from an outside source. And I really get that humanity does not know their own brilliance. And I really get that they don't really realize the power they have by the nature of their own being, by the nature of their own design. We are it. We build the fields within which new futures can rise. You know, Electra Porzel and LOC Institute, she is too. Curiosity, play. And then the other thing I'm doing, well, I'm doing 2 other things, but we're not going to discuss those today because they're all for fun. 2. It's all for Faye. It's for want to play. But I do want to say we have a Tapatalk. It's a message board. I won't move off that message board. It's a living field. It's a living pulse of creation. It's a coherent, vibrant field. And so I've started a new section called Want to Play. And in it we'll have the Realm of the Beloved calls. And one of my projects is rematrixing money matrices within which new futures can rise. And then I've got Tobias. That's a whole nother topic, and it's just want to play. But anyway, it's going to be open as a public forum rather than a private workspace. So those of you that want to play and might not have the money to do part of the work, or you're doing other work, because it's a public forum, that we have a place to create coherency. Sharing has power when you're operating inside of a template of creation. And the template of creation in the field of Tantra Mat is what connects us to life and has us exist as whole. Not in the field of me, but in the field of Tantra Mat, what connects us to life and has us exist as whole. It's based on Mat, unity of heaven and earth, and the principles of Mat. Tantra, the unity of heaven and earth, and Mat, beauty, harmony, grace, balance, symmetry, and proportion. That's the principles of Mat. Not good or bad, right or wrong, up or down, light or dark, but those integrative pieces that sit in the center of a tesseract. And the center of that tesseract builds power like an engine. And if we're standing in the center of that tesseract and we're building juice, vital life force energy, then it spills out into the whole world. I just want to live in paradise before I die as a public event. As people not having to have conversations about evil or the enemy or bad, or like, what if the word fear went out of existence? What if the word war went out of existence? I've been coming back for 12,000 years. I work in language, the language of creation, LOC Institute. It's all my stuff, all my guidelines in there. Beautifully recreated by Electra. Beautifully. So that we can play in paradise. Even cleaning up an oil spill. We can wear funny hats and we can challenge each other for the wildest mud boots. We can sing outrageous songs. Some of us might go naked. Want to play? I love you so. Thank you for being there for me last week. I was rupturing through to the next greater whole, and it works better when you have witnesses, when you have people stand in with you. Namaste.